Have you picked a difficult partner? Do you find yourself being attracted to the same types of people that aren't necessarily that great for you? Repeating similar patterns with people that trigger types of behavior in you that you don't exactly love? Me too. Well, what I'm about to say might be of some help. Theoretically, we are free to select the kind of person we fall in love with. But often, in a relationship, we might have the sensation that we would have been better off choosing someone else. So why are we attracted to these unsuitable candidates? It's likely you're not being forced into a relationship by social convention or matchmaking, or even a forced marriage, but still the choices we make when picking a partner are a lot less free than we may think. There are some very real conditions around whom we can love and feel real attraction to, and these conditions come from a place we might not think to look: our childhoods. It's actually the relationship we have with our parents or primary caregivers that is important to attraction in adults. In particular, how these people met our emotional needs and the type of love we received from them as young children. Our psychological history strongly predisposes us to fall for only certain types of people. We love in surprisingly similar ways to how we did in childhood. We look for people who recreate the feelings of love that we knew when we were small. The problem with this is that the relationships we had in our childhood weren't perfect, and our parents or caregivers also had their own problems, and so the love we received was unlikely to have been made up simply of generosity, tenderness, and kindness. Given the way the world is, love was liable to have come entwined with certain painful aspects: a feeling of not being quite good enough, a love for a parent who was fragile or depressed, a sense that you could never be fully vulnerable around a caregiver. This predisposes us to look in adulthood for partners who won't necessarily simply be kind to us, but who will, most importantly, feel familiar, which can be a subtly but importantly different thing. We may be constrained to look away from prospective candidates because they don't satisfy a yearning for the complexities we associate with love. We may describe someone as not sexy or boring, when in truth we mean unlikely to make me suffer in the way I need to suffer in order to feel that love is real. It's common to advise people who are drawn to these tricky candidates simply to leave them and find someone more wholesome. This is both theoretically appealing, but often practically impossible. We cannot magically redirect the wellsprings of attraction. Rather than aim for a transformation in the types of people we are attracted to, it may be wiser simply to adjust how we respond and behave around the occasionally difficult characters whom our past mandates we will find compelling. Our problems are often generated because we continue to respond to compelling people in the way learnt to behave as children, around the same template. For instance, maybe we had a rather irate parent who often raised their voice, but we loved them. So we reacted by feeling that when they were angry, we must be guilty. We got timid and we kept our heads down. Now, if a partner to whom we are magnetically drawn gets angry and cross, we respond in the same way as squashed, browbeaten children. We sulk, we feel it's our fault, we feel gotten at, somehow deserving of the criticism, but we build up a lot of resentment. Perhaps we're drawn to someone with a short temper, which makes us blow up in turn. Or if we had a fragile, vulnerable parent who is easily hurt, we readily end up with a partner who is also a bit weak and demands us to care for them. But then, further down the line, we get frustrated by their weakness. We tiptoe around them, we try to encourage and reassure, as we did when we were little. But we also condemn this person for being undeserving. We probably can't change our templates of attraction, but rather than seek to radically re-engineer our instincts, what we can do is try to learn to react to desirable candidates, not as we did as children, but in the more mature and constructive manner of a rational adult. There is an enormous opportunity to move ourselves from a more childlike to a more adult pattern of response in relation to the difficulties we are attracted to. Consider certain difficult behaviours that your partner might demonstrate, such as raising their voice, being patronising, or being distracted and not paying you any attention. Now, the instinctive response on our part is often a childlike one. For example, raising of the voice could lead to a reactive, "it's all my fault. I did something badly, that's why they're angry." Whereas the more mature response might be, "this is their issue, I don't have to feel bad." Or if the partner is rather patronising, the childlike response might be, "I'm so stupid." But the more adult response might be, "there are lots of kinds of intelligence, and mine is fine." We are almost certainly with somebody with a particularly difficult set of issues, which trigger our desires and our childlike defensive moves. The answer isn't always to end the relationship, but a better approach is to strive to deal with their compelling challenges with some of the wisdom of which we weren't capable when we first encountered these in a parent or caregiver. It probably isn't possible to locate a fully grown-up person, but it is always possible to behave in more grown-up ways around our partner's less mature sides. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the video, and don't forget to subscribe if you liked it, and I hope to see you again soon.